Hey everybody, this is Fortune Kid, and welcome back to part 2 on my series on how to play the Weiss Schwarz collectible card game. In part 1, we talked about the different types of cards that there are in the game, character cards, event cards, and climax cards, and how to read the information that is on those cards. In this video, I don't want to make it too long. I'm going to talk about how to make up a deck and the different play areas that are available on the field. So first of all, when you're making up a deck in Weiss Schwarz is exactly 50 cards. And of those 50 cards, 8 of them are climax cards. So you will have 8 climax cards, and then the remaining 42 cards will be a mixture of characters, and you may be playing some events depending on how your deck is built. So you definitely have characters, and you may or may not have some events. And that is going to be your 50 card deck. So what you do to start the game is, oh, and by the way, a great way to get into Weiss Schwarz is just to simply get a trial deck. Trial deck, like this is the Log Horizon trial deck, they're already pre-constructed. They're 50 card decks. They have the required number of climaxes. They have some good little synergies working in there that you can try out to get used to the flow of the game. It has the paper playmat, which here you see the paper playmat that comes with the trial deck, and there's a quick start guide and a playbook with more in-depth rules. So once you get your 50 card deck, this one happens to be sleeved with Super Mario sleeves. Shuffle it up, and then this is the, like I said, is the paper playmat, and your deck will go right here. And then your opponent on this side has the same thing. Their deck is shuffled up and their deck goes right here. Now on the playmat, there are different areas where cards may be played and other things will be tracked. The most important are these 3 spaces right here in the front. So these 3 spaces are called the center stage. There's the middle center stage, the left center stage, and the right center stage. So that's for this player, the Super Mario player, that are their 3 center stage positions. The center stage is also called the front row. And those positions do matter because some card effects will target a card in the center stage or a card in the middle position of the center stage. So that is what that is referring to. So these are the 3 positions on the center stage where you can play cards. Then you have 2 positions called the backstage. There's one backstage position here, another one here. So this is another 2 positions where you can play cards. So as this player here, the Super Mario player, you can see the maximum amount of character cards that you're going to have in play on any given turn is 5. You can only have 3 in the front row and 2 on the back row. You may or may not have a climax card in play. If you do play a climax card, this is the spot where your climax card will go. And then the other areas here, this one here is what is known as the clock. And the clock is where you will track damage. So as you take damage, those cards that are damaged get put into your clock. Once your clock reaches 7 cards, you are going to be what is known as leveling up. So you will start at level 0. You'll go to level 1, level 2, level 3. If you go past level 3, you lose the game. So everyone starts at level 0. You're going to be putting cards in your clock as you take damage. Then once you hit 7 cards in your clock, one of those cards from your clock will go in your level area. So this is the level area right here. The rest of the cards will go in your discard pile, and your discard pile is also known as your waiting room. This area here is where is what's called your stock. And think of your stock as your resources. So as you gather cards in your stock, those are resources that will be available to you during the game. And then the last area on the mat is this area here, and that is what is known as the memory area. Some cards will say, put this card into memory. If you have a certain amount of cards in memory, something will happen, and that's what they're referring to. And the memory is very similar to exiling in Magic the Gathering, and that is where cards that are put into memory go. So those are the different play areas that are on the mat. And we talked about each player has their 50 card deck, and their 50 card deck is shuffled. So now you're ready to begin your game. And the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pick some way of determining the first player. And you can do rock, paper, scissors, you can roll a die, whatever method you think is best, but some way to determine the first player. Once the first player is determined, then each player is going to draw 5 cards off the top of their deck. Okay, so this player, as you can see, is playing Nisekoi, and they drew a climax card, a level 1 Raku, a level 0 Shitogi, a level 0 Kosaki, and a level 2 Marika. Now, given that it is the beginning of the game and both players are at level 0, the Nisekoi player knows they're not going to be able to play this level 2 Marika, they're not going to be able to play this level 1 Raku, and they're probably not going to want to play this climax card right to begin with. So what they're going to do is they're going to hold on to their 2 level 0s, the level 0 Shitogi and the level 0 Kosaki, and they're going to discard the other 3, and then they're going to replenish their hand equal to the number of cards that they just discarded. So the Nisekoi player discarded 3, they get to draw 3 to replenish their hand, and now they have 5 cards in hand and they're ready to begin the game. That is what is known as taking a mulligan. And the taking a mulligan is discarding cards and then replacing that exact same number of cards in your hand to start the game. And you only get to do that at the very beginning of a new game. And then this player will do the same thing. They'll draw 5 cards off the top of their deck. And as you can see, this player is playing Madoka Magica, and they have a level 0 Homura, a level 2 Marika, a level 1 Homura, a level 0 Sayaka, and a climax card. So they know they're not going to be able to play this level 2 Marika, they know they're not going to be able to play this level 1 Homura, and they're probably not going to want to play this climax card right to start the game. They're going to hold on to these 2 level 0s. The rest of the cards they're going to put in their waiting room or their discard pile and then draw 3 cards to replenish their hand. And now the Marika player has also taken their mulligan. So now each player has 5 cards in hand. They've taken their mulligan. They've randomly determined that the Nisekoi player is going to be the first player, and the game is ready to begin. So if you'd like to see a couple of sample turns, tune in to the next video after this one. And otherwise, that's it for now. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a good day.